We've had 6 debutants this season. Let's talk about them. So in this video, I don't usually do this, but I'm going to be ranking our debutants. And I have people say, oh, do ranking videos of, the players throughout the season and stuff. And I don't know, for some reason, I just don't like doing ranking videos. Like, I don't know, like I don't like putting a number to a player like, oh, Patrick Lipinski's a 4 this season. Like, what if Patrick Lipinski watches this video? Not that he will, and he sees that he's a 4, and he's like, "Oh, I'm better than a 4." And I don't know. I just get into my head because I would hate to be ranked like that. So in this scenario, this ranking is going to be like a 1 to 6 of who. I guess it's the same. Like who I think has done well since their debut, and who is 6th best in the debut. I guess that's still ranking him in a way, but I guess I've got to get over that sort of thing because it's not a knock on the player. It could be the circumstance, and Ed Allen's only played 1 game. Will Parker's been sub for two games. So I don't know. It's just all up. It's all up in my head. So this will be I think this might be my first ever rating video. So let me know if you like them. I'll get over it if I have to do more for you guys. But let me know down in the comments below. But let's get into this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from the player who debuted first, second, third, blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, I'll sort of put him in my rankings of 6 to 1. So starting up, Charlie Dean. So Charlie Dean debuted against the Giants, and it was a baptism of fire. So we started 0-3, and Charlie Dean played all of those games, and he was amazing, right? It was amazing that he could finally get a senior game after a couple of years with that bad foot injury. I think it was both of his feet. So he finally started, and I do love that he debuted. It was a baptism of fire, though, because he goes up against, Jesse Hogan. Then against Sydney, he goes up against, like Logan McDonald and stuff like that. And I think in those games, I do feel like Frampton would have been a better player just because of Frampton's, ability to defend and a little bit more bigger body than Charlie Dean. But what I do love is that we gave Charlie Dean a few games in the seniors, put him down into the 2s, and then brought him back. And now we're seeing the best of Charlie Dean. And what Charlie Dean does, he's now sort of filling that Nathan Murphy role, I feel. Not as you cannot replace Nathan Murphy, but what it lets our defenders sort of do is it lets Darcy Moore, do more of the Darcy Moore role. Jeremy Howe do more of the Jeremy Howe role. Because I feel that at the start, even though Charlie Dean was playing, I feel like Darcy Moore was trying to do 2 roles at the same time. So now with Charlie Dean sort of getting his getting the work into himself, getting the confidence into himself, we can send Billy Frampton into the forward line when we needed to. And now Billy Frampton comes back, lockdown defender. Charlie Dean's that intercept floating mark. I feel like Dean might be Jeremy Howe's long-term replacement. So getting games into him now gives us that confidence, and getting games into all of these young guys now gives us the confidence that if we need them down the road, they can fulfill a role in the team. So the second guy to debut was Loy Sullivan. So Loy Sullivan debuted against Carlton. He came on as the sub, and just his story is just absolutely incredible, right? His story is just phenomenal. Overlooked in a bunch of drafts. He misses out on the draft last season. He gets picked up as an SSP. Mitchell goes down. DeGoa goes down. Loy Sullivan, you're debuting in one of the biggest games of the season for us to that point. And he comes on, kicks, and it kicks a really good goal. Kicks a really good goal. And everyone on the bench is going nuts. Nick Dacos is going nuts, and McRae. Really good to see. So Charlie Dean's best game for me would be the Doggies or the North game. North with an F. Like I said, intercept marking, intercept possessions, and he can sort of float. Very good mark overhead. Very good overhead mark. So that's awesome, and it really does help out our defenders. His best game for me was the Fremantle game. 14 contested possessions, 24 disposals, a couple of clearances. And what I like about Loy Sullivan is the mature age body. He knows his way around the ball, and he knows how to set up on the field and stuff. A very good player that can take over that Mitchell role, take over that Degoro White role now that they're not playing. Tom Mitchell, in that interview that I had with him, he did say, which is a couple of videos back, he did say that he's been mentoring Loy Sullivan, which we absolutely love. So we're getting our own mini Wombat in Sully, and I just love the way he goes about it. And he's played 6 games, and he's been very, very reliable, especially in that sort of Fremantle game. And I think it just shows that in the VFL, what they're doing, and I say this all the time, but in the VFL, their role and the coaching by Fraser and the coaching by Neville Jetta to be able to get any of these VFL players straight into the seniors and then play to a senior level is outstanding. And Loy Sullivan finally got his chance, and he hasn't been out of the team since. So does he keep his spot when Mitchell and Degoro come back? Look, probably not, but it's good to see that he can play football. He can ball, and if we need him to call up on him, amazing. So the third guy here that debuted this season was Joey Richards. Debuted against West Coast, and his best game was probably against West Coast. He's only played 3 games because then he had that bloody he had that foot injury, and now we haven't been able to see him. And I think Joey Richards, another mature ager like Loy Sullivan, one guy that could really run deep in our team, especially with no Jamie Elliott. So I know I was spewing, and I know all Collingwood fans were spewing when he did go down with that foot injury. And when he plays again, it won't be against Gold Coast. I'm pretty sure it'll be the week after if he does get selected for seniors. It'll be 4 or 5 weeks since being out of the team. So I love what he brings to the table. And I know he's only played 3 games, and you can see his sort of averages around here. But he's already elite ranked against small forwards, and I know 3 games, not a big sample size. Tackles, disposals, 17 disposals, averaging a game. Score involvements, tackles inside 450. He gives us that pressure, but it's not only like a Bo McCreary pressure or a Loy Sullivan pressure. It's a pressure where he does know where the goals are, and when he played for Wangaratta, an absolute goal sneak, a phenomenon down there in Wang, and we get him. He's out of contract at the end of the season, so hopefully we do sign him up because there are clubs that are coming after him, and they'll come hard after him. But he could be that Jamie Elliott successor, and I loved everything that I saw from Joe Richards. So the 4th and 5th guys to debut this season was Ed Allen and Will Parker. So Ed Allen debuted against Fremantle. 7 disposals in that game. Look, really didn't do a lot, but you've got to think as well that Ed Allen, that was the Fremantle game, was the game where we started having injuries through the game. Mason Cox goes down. That was the game Brody Marchek went down again as well, if memory serves me correctly. And with that game, we had to play Ed Allen as a full forward. So he debuts, should be on the wing because he's that sort of box-to-box midfielder that we always sort of talk about. Probably Steele Sidebottom's natural successor, but has been doing really well in the VFL. But we don't have any talls. He has to play tall because I'm pretty sure Will Hoskin-Elliott didn't play that game either. So he has to play tall because we don't have any talls. So you can't really judge him based on that game. But what they did is they sent him back to the VFL to get more game time because he wasn't going to get onto the field in the next game, which makes sense. So they send him into the VFL, gets that sort of form back. I don't know if we see him for the rest of the season. Maybe if we really need him, but he has been towing that emergency line. So if we do need a quick wingman, when we do have forwards in our team, big forwards, Ed Allen would be that guy. Now Will Parker gets his debut, the Fremantle debut, the Fremantle game, and then the game after, which is the Western Bulldogs game. They were both as subs, so I think in total he's played less than 50% game time. So you can see why he's gone to the VFL. But Will Parker, kind of like Loy Sullivan in a way, where Will Parker was a Cat B rookie. He was playing cricket, so he was out of the system. He was touted as a top 15 draft pick. We pick him up for virtually nothing as a Cat B rookie. And I think it was when he debuted, it was 8 or 10 weeks before his debut that we had signed him, and he said, yeah, I want to come back to football. So he's done a mountain of work to even just debut, and I know he only played like 35% in the Freo game, and I think it was about 15% in the Western Bulldogs game. But even just to get on the park in 8 to 10 weeks is, again, the word testament to our conditioning staff and the coaches in the VFL. So, that's absolutely huge. But you can kind of see with Ed Allen, with Will Parker, they were probably, with our injury list, they were probably forced forced changes because we didn't really have anyone else. But it's good to get sort of games or senior games into these guys away, hostile territory, and they get to experience that. The last guy that we debuted is TJ, and I thought he did some really nice things off the half-back line. A little bit timid. He can put a little bit more muscle on. He was getting out-muscled a little bit by the Kangaroo defenders, but I think he did pretty well. You know, 5 disposal, couple of intercept possessions. I think he did well for the game because the whole defense was under fire in that first half. So he didn't really do much in that first half, but neither did our defenders. And in the second half, when it was all Collingwood, our defenders didn't really have to do that much either. But I think he could be absolutely anything. And to see him sort of taking marks and running and rebounding off that half back line, that like he was doing in the VFL, absolutely smashing it in the VFL, doing that. It's a sight to behold. And he's going to play exactly like his brother. I think he's a little bit taller than his brother at this time. Definitely more developed than his brother at this time when CJ made his debut. So I do like we got a game into TJ. I don't think, TJ, Parker, and Allen, I don't think we probably see again for the rest of the season with all of these players sort of coming back. But again, getting those that senior experience into these young legs is phenomenal, and that's exactly what we need. And like I said in a video previously, I don't remember a premiership side debuting half a dozen players in a like the next season after a premiership win. I'd love to see that stat. So now I'm going to rank these players in who I think has performed the best since debuting. And again, keep in mind that it is circumstantial because, for example, Will Parker hasn't been sub or, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So, 6th, we've got Ed Allen. Again, circumstantial because he had to play full forward against Fremantle. 5th, Will Parker. Didn't really see a lot of him, but he did get those 2 games as a sub. Did a couple of nice things against Freo. Didn't do much against the Doggies. 4th, TJ. Again, 1 game, but he did a little bit more than Will Parker and Ed Allen did. Different positions as well, I know that. 3rd, so top 3, we've got Charlie Dean. I loved, he was a little bit timid at the start. He was getting bodied by these big forwards, but then he's really come into his own, and I love to see that. And there's probably a spot for him in the team going forward in the second half of the season. Now, 2 and 1, it's been, these guys are neck and neck, and you may agree with me, you may not agree with me, but number 2, I've got Loy Sullivan. I love Loy Sullivan. I love his story. And, he's still getting games. And I think with the Tom Mitchell injury, I'd love to see him go about it with Jordan De Goey in the middle as well. Give him a chop out, help him out, and see what he can do. He finds himself in the right positions. But number 1, well, you don't have to guess, it's Joe Richards. I know he's only played 3 games. I know that's 3 less than Loy Sullivan at number 2. But Joe Richards is our future forward. And I really do believe that. I hope Collingwood sign him for 3-4 years, maybe not 4 years, maybe 2 or 3 years at contract extension, because I feel like Joey Richards could be Jamie Elliott's successor. I really do believe that, and I really believe that when he does come back from his injury, when he's injury free, he goes straight into the senior side. So I'd be really keen to see how that works out. But look, guys, that's just been my thoughts on the debutants, and I'm like a proud dad. I'm older than all of these guys. I can't believe that. But I'm like a proud dad. I'm so proud of these guys, and to get into the AFL system is incredible. To debut is even more incredible, and to do it for Collingwood, beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So I hope to see more of them in the future. And let's follow their VFL progression as well. I think the VFL is always streamed over on the AFL app or on the AFL website. So keep your eye out for that. But look, let me know your thoughts down below. Who has been your favorite debutant this season? Who has impressed you the most? Leave all your thoughts down below. And until then, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets. And until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.